G'day and welcome back to my hobby room. It's a bit chilly today. Yeah, single digits for us, which is quite cold when you're in Australia, mate. When you're used to bloody having your bum sound tanned all the time, I tell you. Now look, new merchandise has arrived. Yes, look, great little t-shirts with a rivet on it. And it says, "No, I'll count my own, thank you." So those of you that have seen the videos or are part of our group, Fuck of the Rivet Counters, yes, brand new t-shirts and of course the mug. That will give you a hint as to what is today's video subject. Now, more about the merch later because there's a big sale on this weekend. But I'll tell you all about that soon. This video, right? Now, last month I do a live video with my patrons, my YouTube members, right? It's exclusively for them. And then I just edit it down and you get highlights, which is basically to the general public. But in those big videos, often when we're discussing the patrons and the YouTube members and myself, of course, I have to be there, they come up with ideas for videos. And this is one of those. I can't remember who suggested it, but I think you know who it is. Might have been Neil. I don't know. Neil, if it's yours, you can take the credit. But if it's somebody else's, you better let me know. As I said, my memory hopeless these days. Absolutely. But anyhow, I remembered the idea for the video. And it was this. They said, "Harry, why don't you do a video of models we might have seen that you really liked?" And I thought, oh, yeah, because there's been a number that kind of get mentioned, but they never really had their own videos. So this will be a video showing those kind of models that I really enjoyed. They were very unusual, but they may not have had their own build series, whatever, okay? So this is going to be the Unusual Gooch, right? Yeah. That's going to be a nice one to tug on. Okay, roll the music. If you're enjoying the videos on my channel and the silly sort of stuff I do, and even the instructional stuff, or basically I just show you how I'm building things, like the scratch building that's going to be coming with the Amerigo Vespucci, right? If you enjoy this stuff, please hit like on my videos. It really helps. It really helps to get the algorithm working so that YouTube promotes me more. Comment, just be respectful. Say something nice. Tell me a joke, You can subscribe to my channel. That's always good. You can hit that super thanks button, right? Bang! You can instantly send me a shekel or two, and it really helps me out. Of course, there's also YouTube and Patreon. There's many ways that you can support me. And to all the Patreons and YouTube members out there, look, thanks, guys. Thanks heaps. Because of your support, I'm able to make these sort of videos. So, shall we get on with it? Okay, what's first? Now, I've often talked about this little guy, and I might have even shown him a few times, but I'm surprised I've never actually made a video. I probably should, because it was a barrel of fun. Now, this is a Toon tank, right? And it's a Toon Tiger, okay, so obviously Tiger. And I have gone and painted it as a tiger. And to do that, I actually researched what tiger patterns were like, and I noticed they were white underneath, and then they come up, and there's about 3 different colours. There's sort of a dark orange, a mid sort of browny colour, and then the cream, the off-white. And I colour picked all those off photos, and I mixed colours, and I airbrushed in and blended everything, okay? And then I worked out how everything should look. Now the tail of a tiger is like that, so that became the barrel. There's actually a pair of eyes. Oh, I can't see them. There's actually a pair of eyes I think you can see here. And then I did the markings on the turret, basically how the head markings are on a tiger. Then I worked my way down and did the body ones. Now, to do the little stripes, right, there's a ton of bloody stripes on this thing, right? Every one of those stripes is a single stroke of a brush, which I had to practice first. So it starts out thin, goes heavy, comes out thin, one go, okay? And I practiced and practiced and practiced, so I was fairly good at it. And then off I went, stripe, stripe, stripe. And I think there's probably only 1 or 2 that I had to touch up. But basically, I managed to get all the stripiness happening. And it was a really sort of fun thing to do. It was quite therapeutic. There's sort of a concentration and the stroking. Well, it's one of those videos. I enjoy the stroking. But look, I thoroughly enjoyed painting this. It's one of those times where I really got into the paint job, because normally I paint because I have to, but I'm not really a painter, I don't really enjoy it. But I put all my skills to the table here, and I ended up with a stripy tiger tank, okay? Much to the chagrin of the rivet counters, but, what do we say? Fuck up the rivet counters. Exactly. Another one that I'm amazed I never made a video for. I thought I had. But here it is. It's a glider. It's a little Hasegawa. I think it's called a primary glider or something. It's a training glider that is used by, well, this one, I was going to do it with swastikas and everything, but at the time I thought, oh, maybe not. The Germans did use it, okay? The Luftwaffe did use it as a training. The Canadians, I know a Canadian guy who said he actually crashed one of these. Right, that's you. You know who you are? Yes, Moose. He crashed one of these. But I had a ball. Now, I'm holding it carefully because there's all bloody rigging on this thing. But most of the rigging, well, there's easy line falling off this everywhere. And I went to a lot of trouble to do all the rib shading. This is where I started to work out a lot of models that I'd seen were sort of painted incorrectly. There was this assumption that all rib shading was a certain way. And it's not. I started researching it to see how it looked. And then I started to realise that on the top, the sunlight's hitting it, well, the top of the ribs will be a very light colour and then it will blend out. But in this case, because it's a light colour anyway, I did some tricks to work that effect out. Underneath, though, a lot of people paint exactly the same as top. Well, it isn't. The underneath is different, okay? So the underneath is more shading. So this is where I started to do all that. I was sort of hesitant to go too dark on the shading with this one, but later on in other builds, I really put the shading in quite heavily, like the shadow that is cast, and it's a sharp edge. It's not a faded edge, right? The sunlight goes through these wings because they're only made out of thin material, and underneath you get dark shadows where all the ribs and the stays and the things are that are there, the formers on there. So I started to learn all about that, and I got better and better. And the best shading and rib detail I've ever done, I think, is on the Wing Up Wings kit, right? That Hasegawa. So yeah, that's where finally I thought I'd got it just right. The top looked like the sunlight was in the top. The bottom looked exactly like photos I had showing the ribs basically being shadowed through. Now this has got an easy line on it, and strange thing I've noticed, this is probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old or something. Strange thing I've noticed about easy line, it might be the Australian heat, I don't know. At first we thought it was sunlight, but this cabinet that this one's in never gets much sunlight. It only gets, reflected sunlight inside the house, so it never gets direct sunlight. But the easy line is turning white, and then it is just, at some point, it becomes so fragile that you touch it and it becomes dust. Sort of like, that marble thing with the bloody, all the stones and the rest of it, and everybody, turn to dust. That thing, yeah, that effect. Yeah, I can do it. Yes. So I'm like, whatever that guy was, that great big, and he had all the stones in his thing, and yeah, I'm turning into him. Oh, God, I wish I could remember things. You know what I mean? That great big marble thing. Yeah. In the comments, remind me what it is. I forgot what it is. But, what was the guy's name? Thanos. There you go. Yes, I'm becoming Thanos. Yes. All right. Now, a model that I made, I was really proud of, and I put in competition, total fizzer, is a little Flower Power VW Beetle, okay? Because it was part of a club competition that we had at Riverside Scar Modelers, and the idea was you all get exactly the same model. So basically, it's really a competition about painting, right? Although in later years, I managed to come up with some crazy ideas for some of the other builds, which you probably have seen, and I actually did win on construction. I did some strange. They said you got to build the kit out of the box. Well, they didn't say you had to build it exactly to the instructions. But in this case, I spent ages. I researched the Flower Power thing, and I found an actual beetle that was painted like this, and so I matched it exactly, sort of close as I could. I had thought of sort of rusting it out, but I kind of ran out of time, and I thought, no, I'll just leave it at that. And I had pencil marks in here for that peace symbol, and I left them in there, but I got knocked back on that. They thought I hadn't cleaned it up. These things were like slapped together with bloody, brushes and hand painted by the hippies, They weren't worried if little marks were left there. So I kind of left it that way, kind of a little bit rough and all the rest of it. But I had a ball painting all the flowers and doing all the stuff, and I didn't do anything to my chrome. That's nothing I knocked back on. I just left the chrome out of the kit. The one that won the competition that year, the guy just painted it a nice metallic colour, and he did respray his chrome, and then he just did a very quick flame job on the top. Yes, you know who you are. Yes, your flaming bloody beater won.
Meow. Yeah, I think he's trimming his mustache with the mirror or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, anyhow, there's stupid videos coming.
Bask's just snuck in, so I might get her up for a hello in a sec. Because I know the last video she made an appearance, but she was only there for like 2 seconds. And you all complained. You said, oh, poor old Bask Cat. What are you doing? You're abusing her. No, she abuses me. I tell you what, she's on my bed at 4 o'clock in the morning at the moment because of the freezing temperatures, going, it's cold. And I'm going, climb under the bed. No, feed me. 4 a.m. You'll be joking. So she keeps jumping on the bed and off the bed until about 6, when eventually I decide, give up. Sleep is not an option. And I'm out of bed and, feeding her, and it's freezing cold. Anyhow, none of that. We'll talk to Bask in a sec. But what I've got here, you've probably never seen. It's a Thunderbird 3, yes. Yes, I don't think I've shown this much at all. I might have shown it in a workbench and new kits or something, if I was doing them back then. This I bought many, many years ago. I remember Bernard and I were actually at one of the QMHE, the big expos, and we both spied this for sale, one of the hobby shops, and we bolted to it. And I can run faster than Bernard. I got there first and I bought it. In hindsight, I paid too much for it, really, because it included the room that the Thunderbird sits in. Thunderbird 3 sort of has a big bay that sits in and everything. Well, that's all in the kit, and I didn't really need that, and I never really bothered about building that. And so, I just put the Thunderbird together and went, oh, look at that! And, there you go. I have to be careful because it's actually still in pieces. If I let go, it'll all just crumble. It's in sub-assemblies, all right? Now, I always wanted to try a bit of sort of space weathering on this, whatever that is. I mean, I've had a look at the photos, and they sort of do this sort of gradient panel shading, this sort of sci-fi type weathering. And I always wanted to do it, but I sort of got it this far, and that is just Stynal Res red primer on top of the orange of the kit, and it sort of gave the colour. And then I basically hand-painted, blocked in all the little pieces here and there, and and then put the decals on, right, which is that whole fin thing down the middle, and that's sort of about it, really. Even this bottom piece, that's the colour that came in the kit. So it's got a lot of dust on it, and some of the decals are starting to which one is it? This one, this number 3 is I don't know if you can see, it's starting to lift there. It's coming off, but with a bit of luck I can probably put some Dettol solution. I might do that before I put it way back in the cabinet. So I would like to actually finish this one day. It could be a little video. So if you're interested in seeing me finish the Thunderbird 3, let me know in the comments, because that'll sort of give me the incentive to go, I should do this. Oh, and then I can get that shekel that guy promised me for every model I finish. Whoa, there's an idea. Here's Bask the Cat. She was in the last video, but she ran away. She often does. She's not a real pick-up sort of cat. But a lot of you ask. There she is, see? She's all right. Would you like some fish? Would you like some fish? Yes, she's waiting for a fish. All right, I shall go and get her some fish because she's getting a little bit anxious. There you go, there's all your fans, Bask. Say meow. Say hello to everybody. Now, the merch. Yes, as of this weekend, there will be a big merch drop on the store. Okay, the link is at the end of this video. I'll put a little thing up here. And 20% off. That's right. From this weekend, 20% off. And I think it runs for a few days. You'll have to check. But get in quick because we'll run out of stuff. Well, actually you can't because it's all on demand. But look, get in. There'll be new Bask the Cat designs. There'll be an alternate Flock of the Rivet Counters one. There'll be hats, caps, mugs, T-shirts, socks. Well, not so much the socks. And we had to stop the condom line because basically tug on a condom, well, it was just pointless. You don't, do you? All right. Get along to merch store and please snap up something while they're 20% off. Now this next model, it was in a video, but it was in a how-to. And I think I meant to actually make a video for it. I thought I had, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it anywhere. Dun, 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 dun. It's a Type 23 submarine. And I'd gone to, it's not on a very secure stand, I'd gone to a lot of trouble to do a whole lot of weathering on it. And a lot of people bag my weathering. I mean, no, it's impossible. Those chips are just huge. They'll be like a foot long. Yes, that's absolutely right. I found a photo of what these things look like when they came in after they've been out at sea for long periods. And they were all rusted and buggered up. And they had massive big chips and scratches and everything. And they were, this is how they looked. So the thing was, again, rivet counters not knowing what reality is. The U-boats started out clean and they went out looking reasonably nice. And normally, Kriegsmarine, they normally kept all their ships pretty clean. I mean, they really didn't let stuff get dirty. U-boats were the exception. I mean, that Schnellboat I made, that stayed clean. They rarely got very grubby at all. They might have got a few little marks on them. They were cleaned. Basically, they came back to port every day and got cleaned. not the submarines. They were out for months and months, no maintenance, nothing. Maybe they were getting fueled out in the ocean. So basically, they weathered a lot. So, there is a ton of weathering on this. And again, Easy Line. I used Easy Line again here. You probably can't see it. No, it'll be just about impossible to see. But there is Easy Line rigging there. And it was all taut when I put it on. And it has got loose and faded. So I'm going to remove that and put cotton. I'll go back to using waxed cotton because you can get fairly thin. You try saying that with your teeth in, Harry, any bloody teeth. You can get quite thin cotton and it'll do. That's the way we used to do it. Easy Line is great. It goes on well. It's nice to use. But I'm wondering about its longevity because, again, that's a kit that wasn't sitting in sunlight. Like, Easy Line all fell off my Nippon Maru. And I thought, this must be because it gets a little bit of sunlight, because that cabinet is up against a glass window, but that window has a big balcony in front of it with a whole lot of, what do you call it? That stuff. Hatching. And there's louvers and things there. There's no actual direct sunlight. There's reflected light in, and, it is on the northern side, but it won't get the hot northern sun, because in the southern hemisphere, kiddies, the northern sun's the hot one. I know you guys up in the northern hemisphere, south is hot. Well, it's different down here. Australia's upside down. Okay, so the hot side of the house, right? Well, the sun goes up in the middle of summer, right? And because there's a veranda with a cover over it, it's shaded. So there's never any direct sunlight, but for some reason, the Nippon Maru, boom, all the Easy Line just again. Thanos. Right? Goodness me. Speaking of the devil, here's another one. This one has been in a video, okay? There was a video for this one, but I think it's worth bringing out because it was so much fun to do. Look at that. It's, again, an egg, right? It's an egg battleship. It's the Yamato, the Tomato, right? And this was one that I used a special kind of technique for painting on because I want to test this. This is the good thing about the egg stuff is you can try out unusual techniques. And if you bugger it up, it doesn't matter because it's not a big expensive kit. These things are like 1 or 2 shells, at least they used to be. So what I did with this is I wanted to know, this is when I first got the Steinerese, could I paint a kit entirely in Steinerese? Because basically a battleship has just got a tan deck, a red hull, grey superstructure and grey upper hull. There wasn't much to do. And then there's a few things that are black, and I had all of that in Steinerese. I had the orange, red, the greys, the tan, and the black. Okay, the only colour that I had to use in this that wasn't Steinerese was a little bit of silver for the searchlights, right? That's it. So the whole thing was painted with Steinerese. No gloss coat, but then I pen washed with oil. And you can do it. Steinerese is amazing. When you put it down, it cures very quickly. Within half an hour to an hour, you can actually start washing and doing things and all kinds of stuff. And I've stuck with Steinerese ever since. I've got like a whole stack of colours, and it is terrific stuff. And I'm only just getting to the bottom of my black bottle. Like all these years, I've used black a lot, and it's the one I probably use the most. And I'm only just getting to the end of the black bottle. I think it's a 4-ounce black bottle. So that'd have to be 6, almost 7 years, right? And it's still going fine. My tan bottle, unfortunately, I'd heard this trick that in wintertime, if you put the bottle in hot water, right, and warm it up, it'll spray better because it was getting a little bit too thick and coagulated in winter. Even here, winters were quite chilly. So I tried that. But the trick is, don't use boiling water and don't leave it in for too long because, it loosened it up. And then as it hit the airbrush, which was a bit cooler, it all set and coagulated. And it completely stuffed up my airbrush and it was useless to spray and the whole thing was cooked. It was useless. I can still use a little bit of that, what's liquid in that bottle. I can hairy brush out on dab on things, but it was just throw away, get another bottle, which I did, which is how I did the St. Louis. That was all painted in a brand new bottle of the yellow, pale yellow Steinerese. But anyhow, Nippon Maru, again, Easy Line, all faded. Interestingly here, this little flag faded. So, there must be a bit of, it's probably the heat. It could be just the hot days here. It could be just that. Australia does get hot. Like, if I'm not home and the air conditioner's on, it can get over 35 degrees inside. So the place could be dry and cooking. Or actually, it can be humid. It can be like, 80% humidity and 35 degrees. Maybe that's not good for Easy Line. Don't know. I'll have to think about it. Now, the last one. All right. The last one is one that you've seen. I actually did a video on this because this is where club competition I started to change my tact. And when I did that, I won 2 years in a row a silver medal by building a model in 4 days, right? 4 days from opening the box, building, painting, finished, and then it went to competition on the 5th day, right? I did that twice. Twice I got silver medals. I sort of got to the point where I was so annoyed that no one ever liked my stuff and everything. I thought I'd just make something ridiculous. So I didn't I kind of stuck to the rules, but did what I wanted, okay? And the first one that I did for that won me a silver medal is the Kraken, okay? Now, everyone didn't get a Kraken, no. What they got was this tiny little destroyer in there. Right? There's actually a tiny little, I think it's a Tamiya or something like that, right? Or it's one of those little Waterline 1700 models. Tiny little destroyer in there, okay? And yeah, I did add photo etch to it, but I realised I wouldn't be able to do a very good job at that scale of photo etch. So my photo etch is actually badly put on and broken because the Kraken has bitten a big hole. See, split in the middle, okay? Now, if you turn this around the other way, it's black. Because my laziness here, and how I got it painted so quickly, is I did the airbrushing that way, right, towards me. And then because of that, it actually picked out the details. So then as you go over, base colour black, all right? So that's how I did. I just airbrushed it across because then that picked up and highlighted all the details on the deck and my photo etch and everything like that, right? And it worked really well with the Kraken, although I might have done a bit of extra for that. For the water effects, done in like 2 minutes. All I did was we had to be built on a base. That was part of the rules, okay? So the base had to be the size of the kit box. Although a lot of people cheated and they didn't do theirs the size of the kit box, but they didn't get disqualified, bastards. But anyhow, all I did was I got PVA white wood glue and started in the centre and just went circle, 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 out, spot, spot, spot. Because the Kraken would be creating like a whirlpool. He would come up and there would be these ripples out. So it was as simple as that. So what I tried to emulate was if it was a black and white horror movie from like the 1920s, an old, silent movie where there's the stupid monster's just a great big puppet and all the rest of it. And so that's kind of the look I wanted. I wanted that kind of horror movie look. And it won me second place, a silver medal. And I did it in 4 days. I mean, it takes me years to build a Panther. I think I'm on year 7 of trying to build that Panther, the one that's kind of got all spotty. But I did that in 4 days. The next year there was a Honda motorbike we got. And of course I've ridden motorbikes and I know a lot about motorbikes. So I kind of painted it up, detailed nicely. But I chipped the buggery out of it, like excessively, and rusted it, even though some of the panels I knew were plastic. Didn't care. I just wanted this whole chipped, rotten, muddy look. I even broke the seat and had cotton wool coming out of it because that's what happens with your seats on motorbikes. If you ever had an old motorbike, your seats crack, the old vinyl seats, right? And then all the stuffing comes out. I did all that. And I did put brake linings on and I painted up the instrument binnacle. There were a few things that were detail work from me, but they were just stuff that I could do, whatever I could do quickly. And again, I started it like on the Tuesday. By the Friday, it was tools down. Saturday, it went into competition. And the next week or so, or whenever they basically judged it, silver medal. So maybe I should build all my models like that, right? Just, knock them together in 4 days. I'd be a bit hard with my big ships. But anyhow, that's all of that. So I hope you enjoyed that. They're models that all put a smile on my face, right? They're unusual models that I enjoyed. And I said a lot of them you didn't see. You've never seen, really. I might have mentioned them, but you probably didn't know about them. And a couple of those others, if you're new to my channel, you probably wouldn't realise. There's other things there, like the Thunderbird 4. A guy only just basically messaged me the other day because he'd bought the kit and went, oh, no, it's terrible. I'll have a look on YouTube, see if anybody's done anything. And he found my Thunderbird 4 video and went, oh, wow, you can make it look good. Thanks. I'm going to use all your tricks and everything. I'm going to do mine like that. Good luck to you. Because I ended up, the Thunderbird 4 is a really old kit. It's meant to be a toy with a wind-up, put on the ground. Okay? And it's just pitiful. It's not very detailed at all. But I scratch built a whole interior for it. I made a whole lot of changes and did a pretty snappy paint job. And, I had a ball with it. And in the end, that one turned out nice as well. There's lots of others. I could probably do another video on unusual builds. So if you'd like to see another video like this where I just find things that you may not have seen and have a chat about stuff that I really enjoyed, let me know. All right. As I said before, like, comment, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Hit the super thanks. I love that. All right. It's goodbye from Australia, and it's hooroo from Harry Houdini.